Blog Talk Radio.
That's right, nice lady from the UK. It is Blog Talk Radio, and you're in the G-Zone with Giovanni Gelati. Who's on the show this time?
Thank you, BDA. Robin Caroll is our guest today. She's the author of Hidden in the Stars, Quilts of Love series. Let's just try to recap the week so far. We had Beth Weissman was on Monday. Shannon McDermott was on Tuesday, so go back on the archives and check them out. Friday, we have Suzanne Headley Goslin, something about expecting parents, parenthood type thing. Very interesting. We'll bring Robin Caroll. And Robin, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Can't complain. Now, I didn't know today I was going to be talking to a pugilist. Really, do you box a lot?
No, but I love boxing. My husband and I both are avid fans. There's not many fights that we miss, and if we do, we record them and watch them later. Really?
What are you a certain weight class, or do you enjoy them all?
I like all of them. I'm in Little Rock, so we're a big Jermaine Taylor fans here. So it's a lot of fun to watch. I also love Oscar De La Hoya and have one of his autographed gloves here. So that's always really cool.
I don't know too many of the modern day boxers. I go back to the time when Randall Tex Cobb wouldn't go down for when the Easton Assassin tried to change the way his facial features were. That was a long time ago. But I haven't really watched boxing like in the last decade. Has it changed a lot, or is it still the same thing? The ring's still square?
Yeah, the ring's still square. I think a lot of it is now more strategic instead of just being really great athletes. So it's kind of neat to see how it has progressed in the past years.
Interesting, very interesting. Okay, sorry to be sidetracked. I just found that interesting. that someone who writes Christian fiction, you're the first one that I've seen in their bio, really enjoys boxing. I think that's pretty cool. Now, Hidden in the Stars, Quilts of Love series. Why did you tackle this, and what is Hidden in the Stars? What's this about?
Well, Hidden in the Stars is basically a story I wanted to write about. It's a mystery, but I really wanted to delve into the character and what happens when everything that you hold near and dear is taken away from you. So if you have been working all your life towards a specific goal and you're chasing that dream, what happens when it's taken away from you? And you know there's no chance you can ever get it back. So for me, it was more about writing the character and connections that she had to her family, which is what the quilt ties into, not only to her mother's past, but also her grandmother's.
Very nice. Now, how many do you envision for the series?
Well, this is I'm sorry, what?
It says this is the Quilts of Love series. How many stories will be in this universe, or is this a one and done?
Well, it's the Quilts of Love series is a series that many different authors have written books for. This is the only book I'll be writing for the series. It's Hidden in the Stars.
Cool. Okay, that's nice. I just want to talk to you a moment about your writing process. When you do, because you write in many different genres. For those of you who are listening to the show who don't know, Robin Caroll writes YA. She writes mystery. She writes in a wide range of genres. When you're going to tackle a project, are you a big outliner or kind of organic? You somewhere in the middle? How's it you roll when you do a project?
I use a very different method in that I usually start with the characters, and I do an extensive interview with each of my characters. My interview is probably 65 pages long, and I really get into why this person is the way they are, what happened in their back life, what are their ties, what are their emotions, what are their hopes and dreams and their goals, and where they are in life. And I pretty much know the mystery, the overarching mystery of the story, but I don't plot it out. I start with the character and I throw them in a situation and let them work their way out of it. So it's not a lot of plotting per se, it's a lot of planning on my characters. So if I have 5 main characters that I'm dealing with in the story, I do very extensive backgrounds on all 5 characters. Now, writing suspense and mystery, of course, there has to be the layering in of clues and foretelling and foreshadowing. So those I do make notes on, but those are sticky notes all over my desk and my overhead of what I've woven in, and I need to make sure I tie that thread up before I end the book.
That's pretty cool. How do you know when to stop doing the character study? I mean, like how far do you go?
Oh, I pretty much go from the time that they're born, what happened in their early childhood to shape why they are the way they are, such as in Quilts of Love. It's about sacrifice, but how each generation sacrificed for their children and the children's future and helping their children reach their goals. So I had to go back not only to even before she was born, my main character, so that I could go back to her mother and her grandmother and show the dynamics through 3 generations to show the similarities but also the contrast.
Wow. That's pretty neat. Do you find that this have other people adapted your writing style? Do you know folks, because from what I understand, you go to a lot of conferences and stuff like that. Is this something you learned from there, or is this a style that you cultivated yourself?
Well, it's kind of a hybrid of things I learned at conferences and also my mentor, who really starts with a character and a setting and really showed me that you have to know your character, because if the reader doesn't care about your character, they don't care what happens to them. If they can't relate to your character either in a positive or a negative way, they don't care to read the story, because at that point it doesn't matter what happens. So I really took a lot of some information and also from different craft books, the industry professionals. I've read a lot and studied and went to as many classes as I could in conferences and kind of blended everything that was important to me in what I needed to know about my character, down to their favorite color, their perfume. Did they have any pets in childhood? Were they spanked? Were they used in timeout? I mean, I go way back.
Wow. Interesting. So you've taken bits and pieces and kind of made it your own.
Right. It's just like a smorgasbord. I would see something and thought, oh, that would be helpful, so I'll incorporate it into what started out as a 10-page interview is now up to about 65 pages.
Holy cow. That's pretty impressive. Now, have you found that doing that lends itself to future books, or maybe going off on tangents and stuff like that, prequels, other things like that?
Well, it helps me keep the focus on the character, because that's what it all goes back to. People read, I believe, because they want to be entertained, but they do want to take away value. They want to have something have changed in them by the end of the book, whether they were scared or they learned something or they saw how a character dealt with an issue and it was a positive or negative, and they want to incorporate it in their life. So it helps me stay very focused that I keep true to character, even if the circumstances are throwing things at them and the characters are having to do things they never thought they would. It helps me when I'm writing to make it easier. And, yes, it is easier if I'm writing a series or a sequel, or if someone comes back later and says, can you write a prequel, or can you give us some bonus material about the characters.
I love character-driven fiction. Do you find that that's what most folks really enjoy, is character-driven fiction? Is that what most of your stories are?
I think all fiction is character-driven, because you can have the most phenomenal plot out there, but if I don't care about the character going through it, engaging with the book. I think that people have to be relatable to that character, or they don't really care what happens in the plot. And I think that happens in movies as well. I think that you have to relate to that character in some way before you are fully engaged in the event they're going to go on over the course of a book or a movie or even a television series.
I can agree with that. I think that's pretty central. I mean, if you can't if you don't care what's going on with the characters, it's kind of hard to push forward. So yeah, I'm good with that. Where can people find you on social media? You have a beautiful website, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I actually do my website myself. But you can find me on my website at robincaroll.com. And my Facebook is Facebook.com/author Robin Caroll. And I'm also on Twitter as Robin Caroll.
That's pretty nice. So, do you enjoy hearing from your readers? Do you like the feedback they give you?
I do. I find a lot of times when they email me or they contact me on Facebook, we actually start going back and forth. It's not just, oh, I read your book and I liked it. A lot of times I'll go back and say, what did you like best about it? Or what did you find most interesting as a reader? So not only to help me get better as a novelist, but also I'm a lover of fiction as well. So sometimes we'll get into the discussion of somebody will say, oh, I like how this character did this. Where'd you get this idea? And it leads into a whole discussion where I feel like I'm really connecting with my readers and not just, oh, you wrote me an email and said you liked my book. It was, we are now talking about it. We're having an interaction, a real conversation. And that to me is very gratifying, and it's so appreciated when anybody takes the time. So I even have a 12 and a 14-year-old daughters still at home, and I tell them they're very avid readers, and when they fall in love with a series or they fall in love with an author, I'm always telling them, contact that author and let them know. It really means a lot.
That's pretty cool. Oh, I think that now, have you you've been writing enough that you've seen an evolution over the years from when folks have been writing in letters to the social media and stuff like that. How has that changed you as an author? What has that done for you in your writing process?
Well, as far as relating to readers, it's been nice because I do have a post office box where I do have a lot of readers that aren't on social media, and they don't have access to a computer all the time. So it's nice to get those handwritten letters. It's also helped as far as being a writer is that everything is done electronically as far as interaction with my editor and my publishing house. So that makes it very easy on me as an author, because now where I used to have to write edits and write on the hard copy and mail them back in and then get the copy back, we save so much more time being able to do everything electronically. And it's that constant being able to hear your edits and hear your revisions and that bouncing back and forth. It's almost like being able to sit in a conference room and bounce ideas back and forth if we need to.
Pretty interesting. What kind of trends have you noticed in the industry? The fact that you work in different genres. What have you seen go on, and how does your work fit in with that?
I think the industry is ever changing, and that's good and bad. I think it's always good to have change, because that means that it's not stagnant, and that the industry professionals as well as the general public, their wants, needs are changing and growing and expanding and sometimes retracting, and it's sometimes it's hard to keep up with what the latest method is. And like the e-readers, everybody, when those first came out, I remember there were so many people that, oh, it's the death of books, and it's not. I've actually seen, in my personal opinion, that it's actually enhanced. I use Kindle, and when I'm traveling, it is so much easier to load 50 books on my Kindle so that whatever mood I'm in while I'm traveling, I have something available to read, especially with the price it costs to check your baggage at the airlines. So you're not hauling around 50 books, so that you have adequate reading material when you're out of touch or when you're traveling or when you're going places. It's also interesting to see that it's now, as far as the independent publish versus the traditional publishing, it's interesting to see the differences, and I think that's still being shaken out. I still say a good book is a good book is a good book, and I don't care if it's on an ebook or a paperback or a hardback or from a publisher that I know and trust, or if it's an independent author, I still say a good book is a good book is a good book. So that's a lot of the changes that I've seen in the industry that is still working on being defined in this phase of where we are in the industry.
I've heard that from a few folks that travel. It's carrying some type of e-reading device makes their life so much easier than carrying a number of books to read, stuff like that. I think that's pretty interesting. Another reason to have one. I think it's pretty cool.
Well, it's also very easy because you pick right back up. So I carry one in my purse so that if I'm picking at my kids in the car ride line, or if we have to go to the doctor or the dentist and I'm stuck in a waiting room, I can just pull it out and turn it right on, and it's right where I was. I don't, and that's easy to stick in my purse versus a big book.
Yeah, I agree 100%. What do you have going on for the rest of 2014? Do you have other projects that you're doing?
I am working on a project I just finished and turned in the fourth book in my middle grade series, which is a Samantha Sanderson series, and that's this is the fourth book, and it's kind of throwback to Trixie Belden series. So I just turned that one in. I'm working on a novella which is kind of a come alongside with my Evil series, and hoping to get that turned in before the end of the year. And right now I'm just in it's the end of the year. We just finished the ACFW conference because I'm also the director there. So we just got back. Matter of fact, I just got back last night from that conference. So I normally take the end of the year and focus more on just kind of relaxing, looking back, getting my projects lined up for the next year, and spending the holidays with my family.
That's nice. Very nice. How is that going from genre to genre? What does that do for your creativity? Does it help keep you fresh, or is that just a challenge that you really look forward to?
Actually, it's fun because it's very when you're writing romantic suspense, you have to have a lot of balls up in the air. You've got to have your spiritual arc, your romance, your suspense, your mystery, and it's a lot of juggling. Whereas when I go to my young adult and my middle grade, I can throw out the ball of the romance and focus more on just the story of these characters, which is really fun for me because I grew up reading Trixie Belden, and I still have my complete set. So for me, it's kind of like going back and being able to relive part of my childhood and sharing mysteries that are good and clean that I don't mind my children reading with the rest of the world. And that particular series has been truly great for my creativity because it's based on my daughter's school and some of their group of friends. So it's very interesting. It actually takes place at their school. So it's fun for me and my creativity because everywhere I go, I'm constantly absorbing the people around me, the setting, the sounds, the smells, the conversations, so that all that gets mashed together and then spit out in another novel. So this one, it's fun and writing for the young adults and the middle grade has been a very refreshing change. It's very enjoyable to do that. I did two other books with my mentor, Colleen Coble, and we co-authored. And that was a really great experience and got my feet wet into that particular genre. So I've enjoyed being able to have that freedom to write in different areas.
Pretty cool. What is a question maybe I haven't asked you today or hoping I would, or maybe one that one of your readers haven't asked you, or maybe at a conference or something when you were speaking? What's a question you're always hoping somebody would ask you that they haven't so far?
Well, it's not really that you hope someone would ask, but it's interesting whenever I talk to readers, they always assume that we are like J.K. Rowling or Stephen King, and it's so not lofty. That's what I'd really like readers to know is writers are people that were normally very isolated. It's us and our computer and our research. And so when we do get out and we go to signings and events, a lot of writers, myself included, are almost a little awkward because we're let out among people again. But it is so wonderful when someone comes up and talks to you about your characters or how your book impacted their lives, or they send you that email or that card or that even that private Facebook message that says, I read your book, this happened, or you reminded me of what it of how much my grandmother and I love to quilt together, and thank you because I'm going to go back to quilting with her, and things like that. That is so refreshing to an author we're pulled out of our world and thrown back into real life and reality, and to have people say, hey, but what you're doing matters. What you're doing touches me, or it made me happy, or it gave me a laugh, or it made me scared, or any of that is just so wonderful to share with the author.
That's very nice. So you, when you go into the project, you're looking to make sure you touch someone somewhere, deliver a very heartfelt message.
Right. It's I want, like with Quilts of Love, it's a metaphor that in the injuries, my main character, I really did a number on this poor girl, and she loses her ability to speak. And yes, that's the physical in the book, but it's also a metaphor because I think when we, as the collective people, have a dream taken away from us, or we're told that what we have trained all our life for we can no longer do, lose our voice. We feel like we have nothing left to say, that everything's taken away from us. And so I wanted to show that even though that's taken away, you're still going to keep going. You still can keep going in a different avenue maybe that you hadn't thought about before.
Pretty cool. I like that. I want to thank you for being on today. It's been a true pleasure.
Well, thank you so much. I've enjoyed it.
You can come back here anytime you'd like to. I'd love to talk to you about your other works, whatever things you have going on. You're more than welcome back here anytime you want.
Thank you so much. I enjoy it.
Total pleasure. Everybody, Robin Caroll, Hidden in the Stars, Quilts of Love series. You can find her on Amazon. Look at her author page, see all her titles, or go to her website, which is a beautiful website, and see what she has going on there. Tomorrow we have, Friday, Suzanne Hadley-Goslin will be with us at 11 a.m. on Friday. Robin Caroll, thanks a lot for being my guest today. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Everybody, have an awesome day. Thank you so much for listening in. We couldn't do what we do without you. Thank everybody. I want to thank everybody for retweeting my tweets, for liking my stuff on Facebook, Pinterest. Please, everybody, keep it up. I'll be more than happy to reciprocate. I hope everybody has a good day. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Under the cabinets.
Inside the microwave.
Along the front walk.
In the glove compartment.
Above my painting.
My wife said something about tracks.
Need a light bulb? Batteries Plus Bulbs has a huge selection of LEDs starting as low as $1.16.
The one inside the clothes dryer.
Oh, you use the clothes dryer.
For store locations, offer details, and limitations, visit batteriesplus.com.